Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum and hello to all my dear students. Welcome to IMS Online Education Center. Today we are discussing the type of research by method, first type, and which is that type, which is the type of historical research. Historical research means history research. You consider history or past events research, right? So first of all, we know about what is historical research meant for. Historical research is undertaking answer question concerning cause and facts or trends relating to past event. And everything which happened in past is a come under the shadow of historical research. The cause and effect, like the Egyptian history, cause and effect in Egyptian building. I will detail an example of trends relating to past event that may shed light on the present practices or behavior. Today, man grow up very fast. Human development is on its peak, technology is on birth. But nowadays, people, scientists and mathematicians or physicians or even engineers are still confused how they can, which machine, so which they go to the heavy stone towards the top of the pyramids. So it is still a mystery. So to solve this mystery, historical research provide us the information about that scenario, that type. So these are the things which we study in this is the type of historical research, right? And one most thing I will explain about historical research is a type of qualitative research. What is the purpose of historical research? The purpose of historical research is to gain a clear understanding of the impact of past. We must go for clear understanding what happened in past and what happened on the present, and after the future what happened, why in the pyramid are buried, people discover after excavation of that. So past, in the past it exists, it cannot be hide in the sand dunes, but present people excavated it, and in future what would happen, it's all described in historical such. It include detailed analysis of what has been written or done. Where does the scientists or archaeologists get information? The engraved wall of the pyramids, written, which written the name of the king, the contribution of the king, all those things are written on the wall of the pyramid, and explain or interpret of these events, right? So all these things are written on the engraved wall of the pyramid, describe us what is the purpose to build these pyramids, right? So on the base, on the study of these language, our archaeologists are goes ways to find out or explore the body of Tutankhamun, right? So this is the purpose of historical research. The main purpose, clear understanding, impact of past, and its relate with the future or present process, as well as where we find the history, its written form on the engraved wall of the pyramids, right? So what is the characteristic of the research? Historical research. Historical research has a focus on careful study and analysis of data about past events. You cannot destroy the original data or raw data, right? In historical research, you can look as you saw that data and as you collect that data, like mummies and the old toys of Egyptian pharaohs, which they are studying. So these are required very careful. It's because if you work carelessly, then there must be harm for you. You must be careful about this. Historical research is a critical investigation of events and development experience of the past. Critical investigate what happened in past and develop and experience the facts of the past, and careful weighing of evidence, validity of information of the past, and interpretation of the events. When you took the events of past, just I will just give you example in such second characteristic, how we know the critical investigation. When we got a mummified body of Egyptian pharaoh, what should archaeologists do? Archaeologists know about the age of that pharaoh. Is he married or not? What should he do? He go for DNA test, and he called the some biochemist, or and he took and some doctor, medical staff. He took the some part of the body and check out after DNA what is the age, and if the body is destroyed, you destroy cutting one by one, then there is no careful investigation. So all the original or raw data or existed in past, you destroyed. So this is the need of careful investigation or critical investigation, and check the validity after confirmatory by science or different tests or techniques. Historical research relies on available data, usually in the form of written narrative records of the past. Written record, where is the written record? In the Quran, Allah explain about what is happened to the Egyptian pharaoh and how their downfall came. So it is a written narrative record of the past, and some records are found from Egyptian engraved wall, where the Egyptian pharaoh history detail written down, their family history, their contribution, and their remarkability, and all those things are written on the diaries, letters, newspaper. And no, at that time there is no newspaper, but letter exists, right? Of meeting report, but many historical such include oral documentation as well. Oral documentation, how we got, if the study, I will not talking about the Egyptian history. I will talking about if the World War One or two, we got oral document, newspaper reports. So these provide the historical such as. Uh, so these are the characteristics of historical research. Now we are discussing the steps of historical research. There are three steps of historical research. First one is data collection. So in the data collection is further divided into two steps. First step is primary source, and the second step is secondary source. So what is meant by primary source? Primary source means first-hand information. The information we took from that person who are the eyewitness, right? Whenever an accident happen or a plane crash happen, the police investigate to the eyewitness or near surrounding people who are working there, right? They include the main or unique associated person, group figures or events, fossils, skeleton tools, weapons and utensils, clothing, building, furniture, pictures, paintings, coins, and art subjects. These are all already available in Egyptian history. All things we found. We found the mummified fossils of crocodiles, cats, dogs, and they're all the pet animals they used by Egyptian pharaohs. Document classified as primary at text, law, court ruling, official record, autobiographic letters, diaries, films, painting, recording, and research reports. The first they include are about Egyptian history, but then document classified as primary characteristic, law, court ruling. This is a present. Like I will already give you an example, World War One or two. Then the secondary source. The secondary source was not the scene of the event. No eyewitness. Like no in that time. Now we have no eyewitness of Egyptian history. How the Egyptian can describe. We have, but we have secondary sources are usually limited because worth of the usual error and the result when information pass on one from one person to another. Like there are a lot many generation gap from Egyptian pharaohs to nowadays Egyptian people. So they just can scroll and they have no words, right? Except the valid words, like Quran describe the Egyptian downfall, right? So they come in primary source, but secondary source are not valid, like history books. Who knows which books are right or which books are not, because no eyewitness of that time. And the second step in the historical search is criticism of the data, right? So whenever a thing create, some people criticize it because every people have every opinion. So criticism is also divided. Sorry, criticism is also divided into two types. One is external criticism, the other one is internal criticism. As you know, external criticism is about outside criticism, and internal criticism about work within, right? External criticism is validity to determine the authenticity of the course. External criticism tells us about how authentic the information, right? It is primarily preparatory step providing the data to be used in second phase, now the internal criticism. These are the base for the internal criticism. They provide data, and internal criticism is the you say the flow which is based on the external criticism. External criticism generally deal with relating to form and appearance rather than meaning of the content. It is based on physical objects, physical appearance, right? The it is not concerned with meaning, theories, and all that things, right? While internal criticism where the testimony of documents in relation to truth. Internal criticism is always about truth. And now we detail about internal criticism. Internal criticism describe the reliability. What is meant by reliability? Anything would we, if I conducted a test of a class session 2015 to 19, there must the test, and I develop the test about research, and that test that class results are similar to my present class research result. So it means the results are reliable. And if I took the test in the next 2 years after research of different class, then the result would be same of the whole class. Then it means my test is reliable. The use of original authentic sources awareness owned biases, the substantial document in question by other collaborative sources are few safeguards used to ensure the interpretation are correct. It check the validity and reliability described by internal criticism. Right? External criticism this relates with relating to form and appearance rather than meaning of content. I already explained those in the external criticism part, while intellectual with the testimony of documents in relation to truth. And these are the repetitions, so forget it, I explained already. And then about what is meant by validity and reliability in historical research, how we check the validity of um, historical research as well as reliability. Uh, Once authenticity is also called validity is also called authenticity. Is several next step is to establish the validity of content and determine the accuracy of the statement. You can justify and you can determine the accuracy of those. Validity has same meaning. Validity, reliability, or accuracy, these have same meaning. So authenticity, when we authenticize with the external criticism, internal criticism, right? So we go toward a validity. And then reliability, to ensure reliability, the such examination dichotomy means in reliability, researcher what to do should make sure the meaning of facts and statement were clearly understood. If the statement and the facts are not clearly understood, that it means they are personal bias in it, right? So, seeking collaboration with individual with they have witnessed an event in question as well determine the meaning of words, phrase, or pluralism, unique the time period. What what it means you have witnessed, right? What happened in the past, you collected the study in the present, shows that all the scenario, right? If the Quran said about that the downfall came after the drawn of the Pharaoh, right? In Nile River. So whenever you collected, you took a sample and the of that Pharaoh and took the DNA of that, and you just justify the reason of the of his death is about due to sink in the Nile River, right? So the last step, but the not the least, is about the presentation of the facts, which we collected in data collection, and after criticism, we are presenting the facts. Like you go for presentation, right? So a well-written history provides information a condition of past. We require that written history that provides a true event of past, right? Like Quran that tell us, the writing of a history demand a careful awareness of following facts. These facts are carefully avoid like over signifying of fact, right? Overgeneralize from insufficient evidence. If we have insufficient evidence, then we not does not generalize that toward all the mummies and the Egyptian pharaoh. Failures to establish difference between significant and trivial fact tendency to use secondary data, right? And what is meant by primary source and secondary source is also and the same as primary data and secondary data. Like uh, I will explain this is about this thing is very with the example like written history in Quran tell us about the downfall of Egyptians pharaohs. So we cannot say that all the mummies around the world have same history. No, everyone has different story and everyone have different history. So we cannot generalize the result on all the mummies around the world we found. And there are some types of historical research, that is biographic research, bibliographic research, and legal research. These are also are types of history of historical research. You can go for it and check out, and you can how you can learn this historical research. You took an event from past, anything which happened in past, and to apply the steps of uh, historical research and check out. This is the best way to learn historical research. I will learn it by Egyptian history, so that's why I will add in my lecture to Egyptian history. So if you are watching my video and like my video, don't forget to subscribe my channel, and see you soon. We will discuss about experimental research, the most important research in your degree requirements. So be prepared and learn it well. See you soon. Bye bye.